Welcome back to another installment on this Victory Monday of the Purple Rain podcast. Welcome back to episode 201. Yes, 201 of the Purple Rain podcast. So, there's only one Raven to wear number one, and that is Randall Cunningham. So, shout out to Randall Cunningham. This episode's for you, I guess. But thank you to everybody coming through to this episode on this Victory Monday. It feels good. Got the London Blues off of our back. You know, when we talk about games in London now, we don't have to think about the 44-7. We're 1-1, so that's nice. But first and foremost, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. You might want to because we just had a giveaway, and the giveaway is a Flowers jersey, right? And the Zay Flowers jersey was delivered yesterday, and Zay Flowers scored yesterday. All I'm gonna say, I
think we're on to something.
Ivan's pretty funny. Where's the Odell? Where's the Bateman at? All right.
One of y'all might need to get an Odell jersey next. Yeah.
Where's that Saquon jersey? Yeah. I didn't say that. That wasn't me.
Or that Daniel Hunter jersey.
Oh, you can follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter at Sutton Def. You can follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. When you go on there, we are middle of October now. It is about to be, holiday season. If you want to get an early head start on like Christmas, Hanukkah, Secret Santa shopping, you can go there and use code PRP for 20% off your whole order and free shipping. Just go ahead of the curve. Just get it done now so you don't have to go scrambling, in December. But, Sutton, how was your weekend?
Weekend was great. It would have been better if the Ravens could just score in the red zone. And that's just my biggest gripe of this episode. You know what I mean? Because first couple of weeks in the season, I'm sorry, I'm just hopping straight into it. But I was upset yesterday watching that game because it really felt like it was a win that kind of felt like a loss to me, at least, because I saw the same issues rearing their ugly head again that we saw against the Steelers. You know what I mean? Against the Colts a couple weeks ago, like the same stuff. Just can't score when we really need to. And, when we get into the playoffs and these late season runs, we're going to need to score the football. We're going to need to put the ball in the end zone, not through the uprights. Simple as that. So weekend was good. Could have been better, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, actually. Sunday, man. Well, first and foremost, I saw Maryland lose on a game-losing field goal to Illinois in front of me. That wasn't fun. So that could have been better. But Sunday, man,
that team too, wasn't it?
Home, yeah, the all red uniforms. I know. I mean, I walked past Dominique Foxworth in the press box. That was pretty cool. Like, this guy's on First Take debating. Also former Raven. Defensive back. Yeah. But as for Sunday, man, like that kind of, I was getting shades of the Steelers game. Like, we should have been up 30-3. We're in the red zone. Like, Todd Monken is Himothy outside of the red zone. When it comes to the red zone, it's a little shaky. And you made a tweet, and you're like, the Ravens are lacking that home run guy at running back. And guess what? I can't agree with you enough. We really are. I mean, I don't think Gus is 100%. Justice Hill, he hits the holes, but unfortunately, he's not the biggest guy. There's guys out there I'm looking like maybe we look at the trade block and make an improvement in that running back room because you need that guy to get the home run play. But yeah, I mean, 6 for 6 on field goals. It's nice because we have Justin Tucker, but that's not going to win you playoff games. And that's kind of the reason why we are one and done on playoffs or we don't get far. It's because we can't convert in the red zone and we can't put up points. Thankfully, it's only game 6 out of 17. A lot of improvement, but the offense should be gelled by now. That's my biggest gripe.
Yeah, it totally should be. I mean, I see a lot of people on Twitter. I was in a Twitter space yesterday, actually, during the game. And they were saying like, oh, the offense hasn't gelled yet. It's going to take, a couple more weeks. And then somebody made the point. They said, okay, like, what's the cutoff? right?
Yep.
What's the cutoff that we're giving this Ravens team to where we expect them to be fully, you know, firing on all cylinders when it comes to the offensive side of the football? And I stood up and I said, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my cutoff, right? If by Thanksgiving we are not putting up over 30 points, you can kiss the season goodbye. You might as well cancel Christmas, because we're not going to beat the Chiefs. We're not going to beat the Chargers. We're not going to beat these upper echelon teams in our own conference. Let's not even talk about making it to a Super Bowl against potentially a 49ers or a Philadelphia Eagles, whoever might come out the NFC. We cannot get out of our conference, let alone our division, if we cannot put up points.
I
It's
mean, the
just simple.
Bengals, they're winning again. Granted, bro, it doesn't look his best, but don't let the Bengals get hot. I can't stress that enough. Right now, I think Dolphins are the best team in the league. They had that loss to the Bills, but they're consistently doing things. But first, thank you to Darius the official for our first super chat
Yes.
thing. Ravens won, and 3 of my parlays hit. Great weekend. No, that's a fantastic weekend, Darius. Your team won, and you made some money. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah,
Personally,
that's a big W right there. Big W.
fortunately, we
Actually, one of my parlays hit yesterday too.
touchdown away from our parlay hitting.
Yeah, that four-legger, it came so close. Right? But man, that's the thing about parlays, man. I try to do 3 legs or less. That fourth leg is just it's
Killer.
a motherfucker sometimes, man. It's a killer, exactly. But again, thank you so much, Darius, the official, for your super chat donation. One of our Purple Rain pioneers, Darius is. So we appreciate him. Shout out to him and those 3 parlays that he hit. You might need to send me a play for tonight. I know you might have something on tonight's game.
Right.
Send me something for tonight, Darius. If you're on a hot streak like that, let us know. Let us know something. But okay, let's go ahead and let's talk some ball, right? I know we kind of started off hot, right? But let's go ahead and get into our Purple Rain report, brought to you by Manscaped. You guys already know the ball talk. Here it comes.
The ball talk.
Yeah, you already know what it is, man. So look, here's the breakdown, right? Here's the breakdown of what happened yesterday in London. Running the football, 139 yards rushing, 221 through the air. Could have done so much more. Could have done so much more. And, talking about running the football, you brought up my tweet. I think we might have gotten knocked off for a second. Can you still hear me?
Oh, we're good. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Cool. But yeah, talking about my tweet, like I really do think that we are missing that home run ability at running back. And like you said, Gus Edwards doesn't really seem like 100% all that much yet. We used to see a little bit more in terms of speed and bursts and like cuts, agility from him, but now it's more so just all power, which I don't hate, but it lacks that explosiveness that we need. And Justice Hill, like you said, a little bit undersized, a little bit of ball security issues. We saw that in Pittsburgh. But I like Justice Hill for what it's worth. We did not get to see Keaton Mitchell yesterday, like at all. We saw him on special teams. I saw him as a gunner a couple times, but and that might be the inaugural. We're gonna break you in. We're gonna do it the right way. You're gonna pay your dues on this team before you really get to shine. For sure, whatever. Get him in the mix as soon as possible, because we need somebody who can take. We need somebody who can break off a 60-yard touchdown.
Thank you.
Just as simple as that.
That's not named Lamar Jackson.
Right, exactly. Because this offense is clearly struggling right now. Like you said, Monken, he's great. Between the 20s on the field, he's great. But as soon as we get to this red zone, it seems like we're like that. We're like that SpongeBob meme with Patrick, holding the hammer in his hand, just like, with the bore across. We just don't know what we're doing. And like there were a couple questionable calls, I thought, in the red zone yesterday that, man, if we get those calls right, and if we're dialed in, if we're making the right calls, I mean, we're scoring touchdowns. And I'm not here to say that I'm an offensive coordinator by any stretch of the imagination, but the predictability was just so much there. Like it was there, just like we saw last year in the Greg Roman offense. Like kind of what this Ravens offense wants to do when they get in the red zone. And that's the issue.
But there was that one Lamar run, I think. I don't know. He could have taken it inside, and instead he took it outside, and he got caught up. I didn't like that play at all. I thought everybody and their mother knew Lamar's going to have the ball in his hands, especially in shotgun. We weren't going to hand it off. It was Lamar's taking it no matter what. Didn't like that. The Zay Flowers touchdown, though, that was a beauty. Lamar extending the play, finding Zay, and Zay just finding the end zone. But like you said, man, like 6 for 6 field goals. Justin Tucker, I love you so much. Greatest kicker of all time. great personality, great human being. I don't want to see you that much. You know, I want to see you kicking off after we score touchdowns. But it's nice to know that we have a guy that can it's just that automatic. But yeah, this red zone offense has got to be better because we had to start turning these 3s into 7s. And I look at other teams. The Bills struggled yesterday. The Chiefs didn't look good. I'm looking at the Dolphins, honestly. Like I said, to me, the Dolphins are the best team in the AFC. I truly do think the AFC will go through Miami. And you look at them, they're putting up points even when Tyreek was out with the cramping. Waddle did his thing. They got Chase Claypool. You know, they have these guys now. They can put up points, and Tua looks pretty damn good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of shocked to hear you say that you think the AFC is going to run through, what is it, Candlestick Park in Miami, something like that.
I don't. Hard Rock.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. The Chiefs. After watching that Chiefs game, man, like unless they get a solid guy at the trade deadline, like they haven't really impressed me. But they will do their thing eventually.
Yeah, I about to say like later, like come around December, you're gonna start to see the Chiefs heat up. I think they're gonna be like really hitting their stride. Mahomes is gonna be in midseason form along with Travis Kelce and those boys. And I really like their defense. Their defense is kind of stringing them along right now too. So I do think that the AFC is probably still going to run through Arrowhead. If not, hopefully M&T Bank. You know, that's the hope, right? But I wanted to bring something up to you, Alex, because you mentioned Zay Flowers' touchdown yesterday. Zay Flowers' touchdown was a big play. Now, a lot of our plays yesterday, like that play, were off script, right? So Lamar getting out of the pocket, extending the play, and then making something happen. I've noticed, and this may not be rocket science or news to anybody else, but that is Lamar Jackson's X factor. That is his specialty. You know, I trust Lamar Jackson to make a good play more so outside of the pocket than inside the pocket. That's just me. You know, off script or where we have his best plays. I mean, like you can think about, I think it was like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. We were in the red zone yesterday.
Yeah.
Makes that guy miss really bad, right? Off script, kind of runs around a little bit, gets the first down, you know? Changes, like really like takes the wind out of the defense's sails. It really does when you have these off script plays. So I would like to see, as a fix to the red zone struggles, simulate off script plays if you're Todd Monken, right? So roll Lamar Jackson out, get him outside of the pocket, get him moving, get the offense and the defense moving around, reacting to Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson has shown time and time again, he knows exactly when to run. He knows when to face, and he knows when to face up and get that ball to one of his pass catchers. So if we can do more of that, I think we'll succeed.
Yeah, first and foremost, we have 50 people watching and 17 likes. If you are new here, like the video and subscribe. Thank you for coming through. Really appreciate that. Now, I remember us talking about something, you know, maybe a year or so ago. Maybe when we first started this podcast, is like the way the Ravens and Lamar plays like backyard football. And we'd always talk about when Lamar is scrambling, only like Mark Andrews would realize that, and he would try to find the open spots. I think in Zay Flowers, we finally have a receiver that knows how to play backyard football. He gets open, and we've seen it multiple times this season. The play that is in my head the most is that game against the Steelers last week. Lamar's rolling out, cross body hits Zay Flowers for like 20 some yards, and we saw it yesterday. Hits him for a touchdown.
Yep.
I
mean,
think
you can see it in the targets. Look at the target
exactly.
numbers. Yeah,
we have a receiver that is like, okay, well, when Lamar's rolling out, just get open. He's gonna find me. And it took us how long to do that? And I'm happy it happened, you know, now rather than never. But I agree with you 100%. Like when he is in the open field, nobody knows what he's gonna do. There's people that, you know, if they come after him, you're not gonna tackle him, or you're gonna get your ankles broken. But if you sit back, he can run.
Yeah.
So I definitely like to see more of that, because you make a great point. I mean, when he's in the pocket, he can make plays. When he's out of the pocket, it's just even more deadly. And it
just And I'd make the argument that we paid him all of that money for him to make those type of off script plays. Because I mean, that's what his best moments in his career have come off of off script plays for the most part, if you ask me, at least. There's a couple of there's a couple of exceptions to that rule, which I won't get into right now. But we've all seen Lamar Jackson time and time again get out of that pocket and make something happen. Just simple as that, ever since his rookie season. So I think that it would definitely implore, not Mike McDonald, but Todd Monken to kind of install some of that into the game plan. And if not already, put it a little bit more, especially in the red zone, because we have to come away with 6 instead of 3s, like it's just as simple as that. Because when you're playing against teams, like I said, the Chiefs, the Chargers, 49ers, Eagles, some of these upper echelon teams, they're kind of like Steph Curry in basketball, right? They're kind of like playing the Warriors in basketball. You can go down all day and you can score, but guess what? You're going to be scoring 2-pointers. They're scoring 3-pointers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who's going to win that game? They are every single time, and that's just the struggles we've been having, man. We got to turn these 2s into 3-pointers, and, it basically means touchdowns, more touchdowns, less field goals.
Yeah, and it's like us Ravens fans talk about this now. But think about it, like the Bills yesterday got shut out in the first half at home to a Giants team that was stinking it up against, Tyrod Taylor and a defense that got put tons of points on them. And here's us Ravens fans, complaining, but I think we have every right to complain. Our first half team is Super Bowl champions, and our second half team is bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
It's like I don't get what happens. And it's offense, not necessarily defense, but I do want to talk about officiating. I saw K-Dog bring it up.
Okay.
I felt like I tweeted out, one of them had a Titan spread. All right. They lost the bet, but there was just some calls. Like there was the PIs on D-Hop, very ticky-tacky. There was a PI on Marcus Williams where even I have Kurt Warner, Rich Eisen telling me that's good defense. And then this rough in the passer, with all due respect, Michael Pierce is about 300 pounds. To expect him to adjust his weight and take it off, like he did everything he could. On a third down, they call rough in the passer. Next play, Derrick Henry, 60-some yards.
Yeah.
And that changed the momentum of the game. And if Geno Stone does not pick that pass off, we lose this game. I'll say it right now.
100%.
That was a momentum switch. Geno Stone, get him a new contract, please. I need that. I need him as a Raven for a long time.
Because I guarantee you, if Geno Stone did not get that pick and they went down that field and scored, we would have seen the Harbaugh face. And you know which face I'm talking about. We'd have seen it.
Which one?
Right before commercial break.
Which of the 6 pictures you want to see? For what game?
This is one of the variations of just, mouth kind of halfway open, Terrell Suggs style, just dumbfounded. You know what I mean? Like just not knowing what the hell is going on, right? So that's what we would have seen. But you're right. I mean, Geno Stone completely changed the pace of that game. I was feeling like we were well on our way to a loss. Mm-hmm. Well on our way. Mm-hmm. They had stole all of the energy, all of the momentum from us, and it looked like we were folding. So big shout out to Geno Stone. Now, in terms of the Michael Pierce penalty that you brought up, I did think that penalty was justified because, and I get what you're saying. I mean, Michael Pierce is, 300-pound man. It's hard for him to let up his weight, especially on a moment's notice. But that is the rule, and his weight did come down on the quarterback. I'd want it the same way if that happened to Lamar Jackson.
It was just hard for me, like for him to switch it. I'm not going to complain with the Kyle Hamilton ejection. It's bang.
Can't complain about that either. Yeah.
My only complaint is I've seen people not get ejected for more. And with that, I mean, it's helmet to helmet textbook. They want to eliminate that. It's hard for the defender because Hamilton wasn't planning, I think, with Chris Moore to be there. But after looking at it, you can't really argue with it.
Can't really argue with it. I mean, he did lead with the head, whether it was, bang or not. Hamilton did lead with the head. And then what made it worse was the fact that Chris Moore was seemingly shaken up after that hit. Yeah. So I think they immediately went upstairs in New York and just said, okay, we're gonna go ahead and toss him. But I just like to see my guy Kyle Hamilton playing hard. He was laying hard hits all day. He's so
How
good.
do we get him? How is he a Raven?
Yeah, I don't know. Pick number 14, man. That was a great pickup for us.
And speaking of the secondary, I'm gonna be honest. Brandon Stevens is really fucking good. I wasn't expecting that this will be on my bingo card of Brandon Stevens being our best corner on the team this year, which he has been. He's really been doing his thing. No matter who you put on him, he's been locking it up. Obviously, corners give up plays, but I've been really proud with the way he's matured and the way he's just progressed throughout his career, going from running back to safety to defensive back. Because he also played safety when Marcus Williams went down and then Hamilton was ejected. Him and Geno were back there.
Yeah. The DBs have been playing way better than expected, to be honest with you. And I mean, just the defense in general. The defense in general just deserves a hand clap because if it were not for this defense, I do not know where we'd be right now. I don't know if we'd have a win. We might have one win if it weren't for this defense, to be honest with you. Yeah, go ahead.
K-Dog says it, the price of Madubuike has gone up. I mean, I don't want to say we told you so, but like we've been on this Justin Madubuike hype train, and it's just paying off. I mean, yesterday, 2 sacks? He was everywhere. He is gonna want a lot of money, and I hope he's here in Baltimore. And I gotta give a shout to Jadeveon Clowney. He is making me eat my words because I didn't want him as a Raven, but boy, is he playing hard. And then something, 9 pressures yesterday?
9 pressures, 2 sacks. Yeah, just really good numbers from him. Also, I want to give a shout out to Kyle Van Noy, who's even more recently added to this roster. I mean, I love what he's doing. I mean, getting his hands up at the line of scrimmage. I mean, emotionally, you can tell he's into this team as well. Like, there's calls going against each and every way from the referees, and he's in there in the mix trying to campaign for the Ravens and what. I mean, you just love to see that. I mean, this is a guy who just came into the building weeks ago, just a couple weeks ago, and he's already bought in. He's already producing. Him and Jadeveon Clowney have been an absolute lifesaver for us so far on that defensive line, at the edge rusher position. Now, Lisa brings up another good point here. Patrick Queen, who just continues to have just an amazing season. He's also, his price is going up too. And we're gonna have to pay him pretty soon. So I don't know what we're gonna do with Patrick because Roquan is right there. Also, some other good pieces on defense. But PQ, man, I don't think we'll be able to just easily replace what he's been able to give to us. Yeah.
You can't. I mean, the way he flies around, the way he plays with his heart on the sleeve, they don't make him like him no more. I'll tell you that. Just straight dog. And I'm just gonna keep talking about this defense as well. I can't forget when I was away and Marlon Humphrey went down and he was out for a couple of weeks, and you said that this was a good thing. You couldn't have been more right. Getting Arthur Millette, getting Ronald Darby, they're playing at a high level. Both of them, I think. For defensive backs.
Millette did have those 2 penalties back to back yesterday.
So did Humph. It's a lot better than what we've been dealing with. I'll be honest. I am very happy that we got them because I feel confident. But mainly Darby. Darby has been really, really good for us coming off of an injury. I'm glad we made the right signings. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, defense is not the problem, guys. I mean, it's the offense. I know, right? I mean, we talked about this on the last episode of the show, but going into the season, we thought that the defense was going to be the issue and the offense was going to be carrying us. That was our school of thought going into the season. Now it's the complete opposite 6 weeks in, and we're still trying to pick up the pieces and figure out how to get better. Now on offense, we have one, Rashad Bateman, right? I want to bring up Rashad Bateman's name, who's been struggling so far this season. Really have not seen much production out of him at all. I think, what does that say up there? He had 2 catches for 15 yards. It's just, very wide receiver 4 pedestrian numbers. Not something that we would have expected from a healthy Rashad Bateman. And of course, we don't know exactly how healthy he is. But what are your thoughts on Bateman so far this season? I see a lot of people on social media calling him a bust, this, that, and the third, and that, we should kind of move on from him. What are your thoughts on Bateman at the current point in time?
I'm still a Bateman truther. I am. But I don't think you're wrong to start saying that B word. I'm not going to say it, but you're not wrong to say it. The 3 targets, I mean, the third one was the miscommunication with him and Lamar. I think that's, a lack of, we said we wanted him to, kind of get force fed the same way that, Zay would get force fed. Give him a couple of passes right to him. If he's open, and get him going. And that still has not happened yet. Zay had 8 targets, 6 catches. Yeah, I'm right with you, Yolanda. I am still rooting for Bateman. I know there's a player in there. Unfortunately, he just may not be here. And I think maybe we're just, I don't know. Maybe we're just not made for certain receivers. I don't know. It sucks to see, but I just don't know. Yeah. Like we said, like when he was getting the targets in 2021, first down. Even last year, first couple of games, getting targets, making plays. This year, it's just spread out. But
Yeah.
it's
I mean, the biggest problem with Rashad Bateman right now is that his confidence is shot.
yeah,
Like,
that's the only
you
thing
can
you can say.
you can tell even in his body language out there, like heart's not in it. Heart's not in it the way it should be. Yesterday when that interception happened, yes, it was a miscommunication. I did still think that at the very least, Rashad Bateman could have went up for that ball, even if he wasn't going to catch it, just to at least try to defend from that ball being picked off. And I guess he did not know, and this is like a spatial awareness issue, like he did not know where he was on the field relative to where the sideline was and where the defender was behind him. So he's thinking that ball is just going to harmlessly sail out of bounds when no, there's still some green behind you to where a
Yeah,
play can be made on it. So just a lack of effort from Rashad Bateman there. And then also there's a miscommunication with Lamar, and Lamar also did put that ball a lot higher than it should have been. So I think it goes
yeah,
on both of them, and it's just unfortunate that that has to happen to a guy like Rashad Bateman, especially coming after last week where he had those drops and stuff like that. But where you can really tell where his confidence is shot. I don't know if you saw on Twitter today, but apparently he liked the tweet kind of like talking about that play yesterday, that interception. And it was kind of like somebody had said like, oh, Bateman was damned if he did, damned if he didn't on this play. If he went up for the ball and didn't catch it, people were like, oh, he's still dropping the ball. But the fact that he didn't go up for it and let it get picked, it's like, oh, he just didn't go for it at all. He didn't try. He let it get picked. So it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. And obviously, since he's liking that tweet, that's how he feels, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and that's not really like a sign of confidence that you want coming from your receiver. It's
yeah,
just, man, we're gonna need to get something going. I think it's really on Lamar Jackson. I think it's on Lamar to kind of pull him to the side. I'm not sure if he's done this already, but say like, hey man, like you're a first round pick, just like me. I'm a first round pick. Like this is on us. Like this load is on our shoulders to bring this home,
yeah,
this offense. So it's like we're gonna get this right. Let's step up. And Lamar Jackson's not the type of vocal leader like that. He literally will tell you in a press conference, like, I didn't say anything to the guys. They already know what's up. You
yeah,
know. And that's kind of one of the things that I don't like about Lamar Jackson in some ways. Like I want him to kind of be that kind of Tom Brady and get in his guys' faces when he needs to, and really fire the team up, and rally the troops. But yeah, man,
yeah,
it's get more and more open, easy looks to Rashad Bateman.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you can point back to last week. Couldn't have been much more open or easy than a touchdown. But last week is last week. We're moving on. But I mean, like this week coming up against the Lions, they are banged up in the secondary. Uh, Emmanuel Mosley is out for the year. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is still out. Uh, but they played pretty well against the Bucs, shut them down. But then again, Baker Mayfield had an awful game. If there's any week I need you to step up, Bateman, it's here. Because you're going to be on their third defensive back who not really, I say low experience.
yeah,
Secondary is probably one of the Lions' weakest areas, I'd say. And you'll have a chance to cook. If you can cook Xavier Howard, you can cook wide
yeah,
defensive back or cornerback 3 for the Lions. And this is going to be, I think it's going to be a passing game between both teams, between Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson, because
yeah. No
Jahmyr
David
Gibbs is banged up.
Montgomery.
No David Montgomery. We
Yeah,
really can't run the ball that well. It's scary to say it. So this is kind of the week I need you to step up. And I think, chain moving first downs, maybe a big play. You've made some pretty big plays at the bank. I want to see another
yeah.
one.
Yeah, and there's not. I mean, you make a fabulous point there. There's not a better time to get back on track if you're Rashad Bateman. You know what I mean? Like you're going back home. We're going to be at the bank. That support's going to be right there behind you. Like you said, they're down a couple DBs. We're going to be throwing the ball a lot more probably in this upcoming
Yep.
game. So I would love to see Rashad Bateman get more than 3 targets. I would.
Yep.
And I would love to see him get some yards after the catch. Get him in space. If you're Todd Monken, give Rashad Bateman routes that allows him to catch the ball, face up, and make a move on a guy. Because that's what we originally saw from Rashad Bateman, and we
Yes.
saw his confidence was just skyrocketing every time
That
he touched the
Chargers
ball.
game. It
Yeah,
was 5
making
yard
guys
curls,
miss.
I'm pretty sure. He
Yeah,
catches it, makes the guy miss. 5 more yards, first down.
electric. And that's what we're gonna need from him. I would love to see more of those type of routes from him, and then more vertical routes for Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
Because everything that we got going for Zay Flowers right now is around the line of scrimmage, and I love what he can do when you get him the ball quick, and he uses his agility. But teams are gonna start keying in on that very, very soon. As a matter of fact, they are. Like all teams now are talking about. All I hear going leading up to Sundays nowadays is how the other team is talking about. Oh, we got to make sure we know where Zay Flowers is on the field.
Yep.
Where is he at?
Yep.
So teams are starting to pay attention. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. Switch it up if you're Todd Monken. And maybe let's scheme up some more plays for our former first round pick, Rashad Bateman. Now, Odell Beckham Jr. Let's touch on him really quick.
Yeah.
He can't say he had a good game, right? But he had probably his biggest play of the season. Well, definitely his biggest play of the season.
Yeah.
Was that like a 40 yard gain or something like that?
Yeah. Slant.
Yeah.
That's what Odell does.
Yeah.
With his age now, he's not going to burn you. But if you get them the ball in space, he'll make a move and he'll just turn it upfield. And he also got us that 15-yard penalty from Jeffrey Simmons being a dirty player as well, going after Zay's. I didn't see it real time, but like rewatching the replay like that could have been bad. So
Facts.
shout out to Odell for being a good teammate there.
Savvy.
Getting the 15 yards. I mean, that's what we really haven't had on this team is that veteran that has an IQ on offense. Because on defense, talking about IQ, Roquan Smith, I cannot think about this enough. It's the play where Okonkwo catches it and Roquan just lets him there, let the clock run, lets him get up, takes him down. I was like, that right there that's a ball player. He knows the ins and outs, that IQ, especially as the game is going on. Unreal.
That's crazy. That's such a heads up play too. Such a heads up play. Like you said, as the game is going on, as the time is expiring, so this guy's out here tired. He's just almost getting done playing 60 minutes of football. That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy for him to be that heads up in that moment. Gotta love Roquan Smith, man. Gotta love Roquan. K-Dog says here, can we talk about 930 London Mandrews? So Mandrews, 4 catches for 70 yards, had that big one at the end. Andrews is still that security blanket, Mr. Reliable. Like my guy simply said earlier, he's one of those guys that knows how to bail Lamar out. When things go off script, he can kind of play that backyard football style and just kind of get open, find the soft spot in the zone. He's so good at doing that. And Lamar finds him. Would definitely love to see him more involved in the red zone. I think there was a red zone trip or a couple plays in the red zone where he was not on the field, which I don't think is excusable at all.
Yep. I'm 1,000,000% there with you. Where is number 89? He is our best, I'm going to say still our best receiving target, has the best chemistry with Lamar. Don't know where it's at. I would love to see him on there. Really haven't seen Likely either. It's just been the Mark Andrews show. No Kolar. But I don't know. We talked about how we'd have all these tall targets in the red zone and we're not seeing them out there. It's kind of the shorter guys out there. No offense.
Definitely interesting stuff coming from Todd Monken. I would love to see his game plan on how he plans on turning things around and getting us more touchdowns as opposed to field goals, because that is the only way that we stand a shot at making a playoff run this season.
There's one thing though. I feel like we had talked about it all last week, and people always talk about the bad, not the good. Last week we had 7 drops. This week we had none. So those receivers did their thing. No drops this week. All the guys who dropped last week had pretty good games, I'd say. Bateman obviously could be better, but I'm talking about Aguilar real quick. He was a shoestring tackle away from a very, very long touchdown. I like what I'm seeing from Aguilar as well. He had the 2 catches for 40 yards, but you're going to get 2 or 3 good plays out of him a game, and I'm loving the signing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all you really need out of a Nelson Aguilar. Like, I love that signing. 2-3 good plays a game. I'm good with that. I'm good with that from a Nelson Aguilar. It's just these other guys. Rashad Bateman, got to get him more involved. And Patrick Ricard had a solid target, had an intentional target yesterday. Like a play drawn up for him.
That's him. That is him.
Like, oh my gosh.
That is him.
Bateman open like this. Yeah, it's pretty silly to me. I love Patrick Ricard too, but I just think that there's other guys we could be scheming up passing plays for. Just me.
Yeah. And I feel like I'd be remiss to give him credit. Devin Duvernay, that long punt return, the first special teams play we've seen that was good from a return, and then obviously the fumble. Delshon Phillips with the recovery. Like the first half, we played a really good game. It's 18-3 at half. I'm loving it. And then just your second half Ravens aren't. Yeah, just second half Ravens is not my favorite team. I don't like them.
Yeah.
First half Ravens I like.
The thing that bothers me the most about the second half Ravens is that the defense comes out in the second half and still plays well, you know.
Yep.
But as the second half goes on, that defense kind of gets worn down a little bit more and more tired, and they start letting up plays. And then all of a sudden, people will be like, "Oh, the defense is falling apart." It's like, no, the offense has done nothing all game but put the defense back on the field with no confidence that the offense can get any points rolling. And it's just like it's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for losses. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yesterday, very well could have, and I can go as far to say it should have been a loss. You know, I can count games on my hands right now where we kicked field goal after field goal after field goal and lost, because that does not win you football games against good teams. And we just happened to play a team that was bang average, as Simply likes to say. You know, so it's just, man, something's got to give. Something's got to give soon and very soon.
Yeah, it does. It does. But on a Detroit, the 5-1 Lions were playing a team with a better record than us. It's a big game. I don't care if you think it's the Lions of the past or if you don't think they're a fluke. The Lions are a damn good football team from what I've watched and from what I've seen. So it's going to be a good game on Sunday. I'm looking forward to previewing that. I hold this game close to my heart.
Yeah, we trust us. We know, Alex. Alex is like a split fan between Ravens.
No.
It's
It's
okay, we'll say it's like 70-30.
80-20.
80-20. Okay. All right. We'll let you get away with that one. Omega 21 says here, "Hey PRP, how would you feel about Derrick Henry on the Ravens?"
It's not the same Derrick Henry from 1920 or 2021. It's the price tag for me I'm looking at. It's still a running back.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest with you.
The price gotta be right.
Khan saying what Pierce is supposed to do on that call. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. It's not really much he can do, especially once he's already initiating the tackle. I mean, being a 300-pound man. But hey, man, I mean, the league is shown they're gonna call that every time. They're gonna call that every time.
Classic sleepers.
Okay, so I think we have talked at length about our game, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about some other things that happened in the league yesterday. Alex, what did you see happening around the NFL that piqued your interest?
Tom Brady leaving New England exposed Bill Belichick. I'm sorry. It's a uncomfortable conversation to have. Bill Belichick is a great coach, but you got to look at it's like him with Brady and him not with Brady is going to be something people will be talking about for a long time. Jimmy G goes out and they lose to Brian Hoyer. Yeah, not a good look.
It's and you can tell like Bill is starting to feel kind of some of that heat. You know, him throwing the surface on the ground on the sideline yesterday. He's feeling that frustration, you know, and it's open now. Those emotions are spilling out. And, you know, I think that I saw they signed Malik Cunningham to a 3-year deal. They're installing an offense around him. So maybe there'll be some changing of the guard here in the next couple of weeks. And we'll see like Malik Cunningham for whatever that's worth. Right. And they'll see what they can do with him. But I've talked to a lot of Patriots fans and they have some faith in that kid. So
he was good at Louisville.
Yeah. But they also have Will Greer as well, I believe. Yeah. So I think he's a little bit higher on the totem pole.
If we're talking about yesterday, I know I probably should have brought up first, but Eagles and Niners, no more undefeated teams. It goes to show how hard it is to go unbeaten in a season. It's very, very hard. Only one team's done it. The Dolphins and the Don Shula Dolphins. But man, which one do you want to talk about first? The Eagles or the Niners?
I guess let's talk about the Eagles. Let's talk about the Eagles first. The Eagles, they had low key been struggling up to this point. They were just pulling out wins. You know what I mean? Something that we should have been doing. Honestly, I feel like we should have been 5-0 coming into this week. To be honest with you, you know. But the Eagles did what we didn't the past couple of weeks and up to this point in the season. But Jalen Hurts, man, I don't know what it is. He hasn't looked quite as good this year as he did last year. I mean, the interceptions are up. He's thrown more interceptions up to this point in the season than he did all last year, which is crazy. And I mean, the defense is still looking really good, but I can't quite put my finger on what's wrong with the Eagles right now. What are your thoughts?
That last interception that Jalen Hurts threw, what was that? I understand how hard it is to be a quarterback. He's just looking right there. There's two Jets defenders, and then there's his receiver right in the middle, and he throws it like one wasn't going to jump that route. I don't know what it was. I don't know what their problems are. Their run game to me doesn't look that well. I was watching Red Zone, so I can't sit here and say I watched the full game because Red Zone is probably one of the best things ever created. But from what I saw, yeah, I mean, especially watching yesterday when the Ravens play early, you can watch the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock window. So you're watching every single game. God bless Scott Hansen and God bless.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it so much. But yeah, they're not the same team. Jeremiah, yeah, they did lose both coordinators, and then Lane Johnson did go down. That's a big thing.
Facts.
I mean, AJ Brown's still a dog. He's, you can't sit here and deny that. Goddard really hasn't been putting up the best numbers. Yeah, Devonta Smith. I think he dropped yesterday as well.
He did.
Would have been a pretty big play. Yeah.
But the Eagles, I think they're one of those teams that will be fine. By the time it's all said and done, I really only expect them to have like maybe 2 or 3 losses. I think that this is a team that's going to be at the top of the NFC when it's all said and done. Like I said, contending for that NFC championship with the 49ers. So I guess we can talk about now. The 49ers, man, is wow. To the Browns, right? And
PJ
Walker, who didn't even really play that well. I mean, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Like, it's just that it seemed more like the 49ers lost that game. No?
It seemed like Brock Purdy, as much as I'm a Brock Purdy truther, when Debo's not there, when the adversity got tough, he kind of folded. You look at the games that the Niners have won, they were kind of blowing out teams. And when you got to play closer, play from behind, they didn't look the best.
Wait, didn't Trent Williams go down yesterday too?
Yes, and McCaffrey wasn't there.
Yeah, see. I mean, when that team's not at full strength, it's, but I can't really say that I'm down on Purdy after yesterday.
Oh, I'm not. No,
I can't.
He's
been so solid and so consistent, and they were missing some key players. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. Also, they played the best defense in the league, and I know what we made them look like the other week. We made them look like kids the other week, right? But I mean, that's because it's a divisional opponent. The 49ers, they're not us, so they don't really know the Browns quite as well. But 49ers, again, another team who I think is going to be just fine.
Yeah, and it's probably good you lose now compared to I personally don't want my team to go undefeated in the regular season because you can have hiccup in the postseason. Everything's come so easy to you. In 2019, I feel like everything came so easy to us. We faced a little bit of adversity, kind of panicked, and then it kind of went downhill. You lose one time in the playoffs, you're out, And I saw Richard Sherman was talking about that with the Niners. He thinks they'll be fine. Losing now isn't the worst thing in the world because you can learn from it. You know where to get better, and it's humbling as well.
Right.
But you're talking about the Eagles and talking about probably have 2 to 3 losses. I think one of their losses will come from the Washington Commanders. I picked against them and the Falcons. They had a nice win over Atlanta yesterday, in which Calais Campbell did get his 100th sack. So congratulations to him. I love seeing that. Yep. Fantastic human being. But Sam Howell was looking pretty good. I can't lie. That defense was looking good, and then Desmond Ridder forgot he was playing at home and just had an absolute stinker.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely recall you saying that Desmond Ridder at home was going to take out the Commanders.
He was undefeated. he was undefeated at home, and that happens.
Yeah. One other game I wanted to bring up was the Lions and Bucks game. So obviously, we're playing the Lions next week, and 353 yards from Jared Goff, 2 touchdowns. We talked about how this is probably going to be a passing game this coming up weekend. Their offensive line is pretty stout, playing pretty well right now. That means the work for our defensive line is going to be cut out. It's just going. The pass rush, I think, is going to be paramount on Sunday. The Sunday coming up. Jadeveon Clowney, Kyle Van Noy, and all those guys who are rushing the quarterback for us right now, we're gonna have to get something done. Now, our numbers were inflated yesterday because Malik Willis comes in the game and he was pretty much handing out sacks like they were free or something like that. But man, what I saw from the Lions yesterday against the Bucks, who the Bucks aren't bad. The Bucks are not bad this season at all. They're actually a pretty solid football team, and the Lions made them look like they did not belong whatsoever. So definitely a cause for concern going into this week, but I'm excited nonetheless. I think we pull out the W. You're going to that game, aren't you?
I will be there.
There you go.
Be there. Yeah. Like the video. See, let's hit 35 likes. We're at 29 right now.
Like the video, y'all.
When I'm talking about the Bucks and Lions, I got to talk about this first because I'm a jersey guy. I love those creamsicle jerseys. I cannot stress. I love them. I think they're so clean. They look so nice. Fantastic color.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them. I'm just, they're not my thing.
It's fine. Hey, that's fine. I just love them so much. But now, if we're talking about the game, Jameson Williams is back. Deep touchdown catch.
Oh, he looked good.
Yeah. Amon-Ra, worried about him. I mean, this secondary has their work cut out for them. Amon-Ra's looking good. Laporta will be fine. Jameson Williams. Josh Reynolds is making plays. And then there's Marvin Jones, wide receiver 4. So you got your work cut out for you. But it's going to be a good game nonetheless. And then I actually do want to talk about Raven Ron. I hope we cover that spread. I do want to talk about that.
I'd be surprised if that was the spread.
I think it is. I think it's. I checked this morning. We are favorites. I think it is. That's a spread.
Okay.
I do want to talk about that Sunday night game, the Bills and the Giants.
Yeah.
So I got PTSD last night. End of the first half, and you go for a play in the red zone. And I personally remembered a game in 2020 when the Ravens did the same thing, and there was a Steeler player, just kind of holding everybody down. Low-key delay a game, wasn't called, going to the half, no points.
Yeah.
And that's what the Giants did. Didn't get any points. I think it was a miscommunication.
Yeah.
That ended up selling them, I'd say, a big part of it. And then just the no call at the end. I think if that's in New York, I think they call it. Since they're in Buffalo, I don't think they call it. That I thought it was a penalty. But I don't think that it's it's ticky tacky. But the Bills.
No, that was definitely a penalty for sure on that very last play. And I saw somebody tweet. They were like, the NFL calls that 10 times out of 10 if that's like Kelsey to Mahomes or Mahomes to Kelsey.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Because Taylor Swift would be in the crowd. You don't want her to go home with that. You can't.
She'll throw the flag herself.
Yeah, because all the Swifties will come down and they'll leave you a bad rating on freaking Yelp, and then there goes the NFL.
Them ratings up 400% or whatever it is. Yeah. I mean that. Now, one thing I did want to bring up from that game was Tyrod Taylor, played in place of Daniel Jones, and I've heard a lot of talk today about. Should the Giants make the switch at quarterback from D Jones to Tyrod Taylor? What do you think about that? Because they were competitive.
I don't think they will because there's 160 million reasons why. If you're a bench, I don't know why they paid him all that money. He's not a bad quarterback. He's definitely serviceable, but man, 160 mil is
that's steep. Yeah.
Hey, listen, if they're going to keep losing and there's a certain running back they want to trade, howdy. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get your questions down below in the chat. We'd appreciate that. So while you guys are getting your questions down below, listen, if you're not watching this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast live, that's okay. If you're a part of the hashtag Replay Gang, thank you so much for joining this episode. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel as well. If this is your first time tuning into the show, we appreciate you too. Now there's some UFC fights coming up this weekend, Alex. Man, and I think we touched on it last week too, but man, I cannot wait to see Alexander Volkanovski fight Islam Makhachev this week.
I was just talking about this.
That is going to be a banger of a fight because, I mean, obviously, like I said, they fought already once before earlier this year. I think it was in February. And Islam Makhachev barely won. But the interesting thing about that fight was that it went all 5 rounds. And towards the end of the fight, so rounds like 4 and especially round 5, Volk was pouring it on Islam Makhachev, to the point where like if that fight would have went a 6th round, Volk probably stops him. He probably wins. So that's what makes this fight even more intriguing because Volk is going to want to get that back. He's the most mentally tough athlete probably that I know right now. And if you don't know about Alexander Volkanovski's mental toughness, his mental fortitude, just watch his fights. You don't even have to listen to the guy talk. Just watch his fights. Go back and watch Alexander. This is your homework for tonight. If you don't know who Alexander Volkanovski is, watch Alexander Volkanovski get put in a guillotine by Brian Ortega. Just type in Brian Ortega, Volkanovski, guillotine. Just type that in and watch what happens, man. I mean, toughest motherfucker I've ever seen, honestly. Like, toughest athlete. Now, yeah, I'm just excited for that.
You're fine. And I want to keep kind of going on with UFC talk. Mr. Adesanya saying he's not going to be fighting for a while.
Yeah.
I understand
I like
why.
That, though.
Because I know he was very active, and I'm a casual, but I'm already, every couple of months he'd be fighting. So good for him, I guess. I'm not going to complain with that or hate on somebody for that, but man, 2:00 on Saturday, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. They're in Abu Dhabi, I believe. So yeah, that's why they're kicking off early, which is good for me. I love that.
Watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better because like sometimes you'll stay up until like 12:30 a.m. and you're watching and it goes like 1, and then who you want to lose is you kind of go to bed mad. I've been there too many times. But this time it'll be midday. It'll be cool.
Midday, yeah. All right, let's get into some questions here from you guys.
The boxing. Did you see that? I didn't watch it.
Oh yeah, you know what? I did watch it. What was it? The Logan Paul and what's his name?
Dylan Dennis.
Yeah. Man, that was
watch
just
it.
Wow. And because I saw a lot of shit talking going back and forth between those two, and Dylan Dennis, she just did nothing at all in that fight. It was really embarrassing. I got secondhand embarrassment just watching that, because he was just kind of getting beat up by Logan Paul. Logan Paul is not even a great fighter, right? Not even a great fighter. So it was just stupid to watch.
See, maybe this I'm on a, I don't know. I prefer watching UFC to boxing. Maybe that's just my personal preference. I love to see these guys get in the octagon. I would love to see that. I think it'd be like so much more entertaining. Just use them more than just the mitts. And then I saw that people said that maybe KSI got robbed against Tommy Fury. Yeah, Tommy Fury. Yeah, and Tyson fights in 2 weeks too, I think.
Yeah, he fights Francis Ngannou.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm probably not gonna watch them. I prefer MMA, but I saw that was going on social media. Just didn't know if you watched it.
Yeah. I saw the last half of the KSI and Tommy Fury fight, and they literally were just hugging each other the entire time.
Nice.
It was
classic.
Not entertaining at all. You did not miss anything. So
classic.
Yeah. But getting into some of you guys' questions here before we wrap up this episode of the show. Let's see. The April 123 says, "Is it too soon to worry about Todd Monken?" I don't think it's too soon. I think the honeymoon is over. I think that he needs to make his adjustments, and I think that we need to be scoring the damn football way more than just one time a game. That's just me. That's inexcusable with all the talent that we have on this offense, and we're actually getting to the red zone. We're just not finishing. We brought Todd Monken in to finish. You know what I mean? Because listen, Greg Roman could do the same thing. We could move the ball all up and down the field. We just could not score touchdowns. So I don't think it's too soon to worry about Monken because we're seeing some of the same problems that drove the last guy out of there and him into that job. So yeah, I don't think it's too soon.
Yeah, I think if you're worried about the red zone calling, I think you can, because I'm worried about the red zone play calling. But everything else I think is pretty damn good. But yeah, just the red zone has to be better if we want this offense to take the next step and this team to take the next step, which to me is the AFC Championship. So yeah, you want to worry about that? I'm not mad at you. I'm really not.
Raven Ron says here, Clowney over or under 9 sacks this year. I think he's sitting at 3.5 right now.
Yeah, this is a good one because he's been getting. I mean, we talk about how the Ravens, could be 6-0 right now. Jadeveon Clowney could have like 6.5, 7 sacks right now.
Yeah,
if he finishes them. It's funny. A certain guy has 8 sacks on the Vikings. Who could that be?
Hey,
Daniel Hunter. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go like maybe 7 to 8.
man, yeah, it's a great question, and if FanDuel wanted to put this line out on their sports book, it would be set at exactly 9. I think that that would be a very good line, but I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna take the over for
Okay.
Jadeveon Clowney on the sacks.
Okay.
Um, I think he can hit it, man. I think he can hit it. It's
I
still a
hope so.
lot of season left. Still a lot of season left, right? We're only a third of the way through the season, so he's on pace. He's on pace
Yeah. Yeah.
to beat 9 sacks. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Kahan says Tyrod Taylor or Tyler Huntley. Tyrod, obviously, with more experience. Huntley, a little bit more athletic factor than Tyrod Taylor up to this point in their careers,
I mean,
right?
Tyrod was moving last night. I'm not gonna lie. He was
Mm,
moving around. Who would I
yeah.
want? Honestly, I'd probably take Tyrod right now. Mainly just because he brings a different element in Huntley, and that is the veteran. He's been in the league
Yeah.
since 2012. Yeah, his
Better
rookie
leadership.
year. We drafted him in 6th round, 2012. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I go with Tyrod as well. Okay. We'll take a few more questions here from you guys.
Oh, I want to ask you a
Dre,
question quick after this.
okay, yeah. Dre says if Ravens were to make a trade, what positions would y'all like?
Edge.
Edge, yeah, yeah. I wanted to say like running back, you know. But I also think that our interior O line could be playing a little bit better to open up
Mhm.
more opportunities for the running backs. And when I say that, I'm talking about guys like John Simpson. Kevin Zeitler actually had him a decent game, especially pass protecting
Yeah.
yesterday. But yeah, I would probably say edge rusher as well, just like my guy Alex.
So, how'd you feel about waking up early? Actually, what was your routine yesterday? I'll ask you
Oh
that
man,
watching the game.
I was up at like
You
5:30
were
in the
ready.
morning, to be
You were
honest with you.
ready.
Yeah, yeah. I was up at 5:30. I already saw that the Ravens social media, they were showing the guys getting off the buses and going into the stadium and whatnot. So I was hype. I could not fall back
Okay.
asleep after that moment, and so I just it kind of felt like I was waiting. I was in that window of like, 9 a.m. to 12:30 on a regular Sunday, just kind of waiting for football to
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Instead, it was more so like 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. I was
Okay.
waiting. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, kind of same here. Woke up, got all showered up and ready to watch the game, but it was like it's just after the fact we won. Like I said, just
yeah,
having the whole day, we
yeah.
really got to soak in that dub and just
I
kind of just.
know.
It's
I was
like,
like, I can get
all
used
right,
to this.
you guys can do whatever you guys want to. We're
Yeah,
sitting here nice, top of the AFC North. Y'all be easy, and of course, Seahawks sold us, Niners sold us, and damn NFC West team sold us.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's unfortunate that it had to happen that way, but
Did you
again,
watch Marlins victory live? Because I'm loving the
I
accent.
watched. Oh no, that was just kind of random, but
Okay.
no,
Okay.
I watched like the clips that were posted on Twitter. I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious, the whole Roquan Smith thing.
Yep.
Like I was dying laughing. Like Roquan was
I love that.
trying to like act like he was asleep for the longest time, and it just ends up just like cracking up, and like everybody just that was hilarious. That
Yeah,
was
they're calling
really
him Sherlock Homeless. Marlon, I don't know what that fit was. It was absolutely dreadful, mate. Piss poor. I
piss
didn't like
poor.
it at all.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get Marlon Humphrey back to the Marlon
Yeah.
Humphrey that we know and love. I think he's still kind of ramping up himself.
Yeah. On a pitch count, I think yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. Late bye
Should have
week
been on
doesn't
the
help.
pitch count in that Steelers game. Was he?
I
I don't
think
think
he
he was.
was.
Was
Oh,
he?
I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know. Because I know Jeff Zrebeck said he was on a pitch count yesterday.
In the
So
Steelers
maybe he
game.
wasn't.
Okay. Okay.
Was
Yeah, I'd have to check his snap numbers from that game. But
And then words real quick. Marcus Williams is out for a couple of weeks. That sucks.
hamstring,
I
right?
think I think it's best for him though because it'll let his arm heal up as well. He's playing with one arm out there,
Yeah,
literal
literally.
one arm. Like
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's probably what's best for the team
More of a
and himself.
liability than an asset. Yeah, right now. Yeah, rest up, get better. Like a torn pec is absolutely no joke. Is no joke. So definitely want we wish the best for him and that he gets better.
Yeah.
Now, okay. I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there for this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Thank you guys so much for coming through to this episode 201. Yes, we're at episode 201 of the show as we come up on an hour running. Make sure you guys like the video before you get out of here. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, just like you see down below. Then this guy over here, you can follow him on Twitter at simplyas10, on Instagram at simplyas10.prod. And like we led the show with, you can go on manscaped.com and get yourself anything that you want and save yourself some money in the process by using our code PRP. Gets you 20% off plus free international shipping. We know we have some international viewers of the show. So those of you guys watching or listening that are international viewers, maybe some of you guys are from London, maybe you're just now watching this podcast and you're from London. Hello, or however you guys do it, right? But make sure you go on manscaped.com, buy yourself something nice, and use our code. You're going to save yourself some money. Again, I just want to thank you guys for coming out to this episode of the show. Make sure you like the video again. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you for coming through episode 201 of the Purple Rain Podcast Victory Monday edition. We will see you on Thursday. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been episode 201 of the Purple Rain Podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next one.